and welcome to today's episode of Lifestyles. This is where we talk about our life in general, the issues affecting it, and how we can solve them. We'll talk about mental health, we'll talk about nutrition, fashion, skincare, among others. Journey with me as I take you through these lifestyles. My name is Cherryl Otieno. Did you know that 1.4 million people are seeking for a job diligently every single year? We have over 100,000 graduates graduating from our campuses every single year, but the market is only able to absorb around 10%. What happens to the 90% or to the 1.4 million who are diligently seeking for the job? Today I am with an entrepreneur, a young entrepreneur who is handling bags, and he is going to tell us, after graduating with his degree in IT, he's going to tell us and he's going to inform us what led him to come from IT to the business of art. Is it because there are no jobs? Is it because it is his passion? Is there anything we can do to curb the lack of jobs in today's market? And is there anything we can do about today's education system? Today I'm sitting with a young man passionate about entrepreneurship, and I'll allow him to introduce himself. Please.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for having me. My name is Justus Chibole. I'm the founder of the JF Reprints, and I'm glad to be here.
Yes. So Justus, I'd like you to tell us, what course did you study in campus?
In campus, actually, I did IT. Mm-hmm. I did business and IT, mm-hmm. and I graduated in the year 2020. Mm-hmm. Yes.
So did you start your business immediately after your graduation, or what happened?
Actually, not really. After graduation, I had to look for internships, and I was lucky enough to get one internship in a microfinance company. Mm-hmm. Then a year later, I was employed in a real estate. Yes. Doing sales and marketing. Mm-hmm. And then after then I had to quit that job and at least try and do something that I was pushing so hard, at least to have something that I'm owning my own business. Yes. So has it been your dream to be, of course it's the dream of many young men to be CEOs of their own businesses, but that usually comes, around 5 to 10 years after graduating. Did you have an idea of what you wanted to do while you were in school, and after you graduated, was that the idea you had? Actually, not really, because the moment I was in campus, yes. Actually I didn't know what will become of me. I didn't have any idea of what I was supposed to do. Uh-huh. But after graduating and going outside the world, going and facing real life, mm-hmm. After school, I realized that there was a lot of things that I had to do. There was a lot of things mm-hmm. that I was supposed to do. Mm-hmm. And one of the things is looking for a job. Mm-hmm. And the second thing is that at least trying and to identify my purpose. And so in that line, I had only to sit down and think what basically can I do. And then I just had to come up with an idea, and the idea is seen today. So when you came up with this idea, did you have the capital to start, and what was the capital that needed? First of all, you can tell us, because I've just introduced you as a young entrepreneur, but a lot of people don't know what you're really dealing with. So you can tell us what you're dealing with and how you started. Yeah, first I'm dealing with a business called the JF Reprints. Mm-hmm. And basically what the JF Reprints is basically all about, it is dealing with fashion, mm-hmm. More so with an African taste. Mm-hmm. So I'm giving fashion, I'm doing fashion with an African taste. And basically I've started dealing with the handbags, with an art, and that is what basically I'm doing for now. Mm-hmm. But maybe later on in the future, I'll think of maybe doing the clothes, doing the men clothes, and so on and so forth. Starting the business, capital was a bit challenging for me. Yes. It wasn't easy like any other young man, yeah. who wants to start a business. Mm-hmm. Actually, the big problem is always capital, mm-hmm. and for me it was also the same problem. Okay. But I realized that I had to come up with a strong plan, mm-hmm. that will see me through, mm-hmm. what I had. Okay. And having written down the plans and the steps that I really wanted to take myself to. Then I had to look for money, and luckily enough, I got a friend who gave me 3,000. Then I was ready to go.
Oh,
yes.
So you started your business with 3,000 shillings?
Yeah, I only started with 3,000.
How did that go for you? I mean, you needed a room, you needed the materials. Explain to us how this 3,000 worked exactly.
Sure.
Yes.
Actually, the 3,000 wasn't enough for me. Actually, it wasn't enough.
Okay.
It wasn't enough. And because it is what I had in hand,
yes,
I had to look for ways that I could work with the 3,000.
Okay.
And for the start, I needed a shop, a physical shop.
Yes.
But you see now, the 3,000, I cannot deal with everything.
Yes.
So I had to do the online. I had to have a virtual shop.
Oh.
So the 3,000, I had to look for someone who can do the prints for me. Then I do the reselling, I do the advertisement. And that's how basically I started, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And are you enjoying it? And how long have you been in the business? Actually,
I'm enjoying because this is my passion now. This is my passion, and each and every single day, it is something that gives me the strength to wake up and do something that I'm always passionate about it. And it hasn't been easy, but I'm still pushing.
You're passionate about fashion.
Yes.
When you're saying it's not been easy, in what way?
Actually, this is something that I've never done before, because I've done IT. I've graduated with an IT.
Yes.
A degree in IT. And doing fashion is not something that, to me, it is not something that is easy, because there's more to exploit, there's more to learn, there's a lot of research. So each and every day is a learning process for me. So it is not something that I may say that it is a walk in the park. I know I'm still learning. It is a work in progress. It's a work in process.
So just as I'd like us to go back to the numbers. You've seen the numbers.
Yes.
Over 1.4 million
True.
Kenyans are currently seeking diligently. I mean, these are people who, they wake up every day and basically their job is to look for a job.
True.
Do you think we can reduce these numbers?
How to handle unemployment in the current situation that we are in as a nation, basically, because that is where we are.
Yes.
And this is something that is facing all of us.
Yes.
No one is an exemption. So you realize that the rapid population growth has also affected us as a nation and as young people. We have many people who are jobless, and we have few job opportunities. And also the government has not also played a very big role in making sure that we are creating more opportunities for the young men who are graduating from school. Because you can imagine maybe 100% of graduates, they graduate every year. But out of that number, we only have maybe 10% that are being absorbed, which means the gap between employment and unemployment, we have a very big gap in between here. So we don't have many job opportunities.
Now, you've told us that your business, you didn't start it with a lot of capital,
Sure.
which is something a lot of people assume. You know, if I'm to start a business, I'll need a certain amount of money, and it has to be huge,
True.
right? But we've seen that yours capital was, I mean, it was an issue, but you're really able to start.
True.
Do you think that our youths are lazy?
Basically, most of the youths, they don't want to think basically outside the box. They don't want to exploit the opportunities that we have. For instance, when I was in campus back then, you see, my mindset was that let me graduate and I'll get a collar job. I'll get a white collar job. I want to be employed. I want to get into an office. I want a salary of 50,000.
You have to spin around the chair.
Yes. But that's not the reality.
Okay.
That's not the reality. Until you face, you experience it.
Yes.
Now you start realizing that everything is not as you thought it was. So I think I can also blame the youths on other hand, that at least they should also think outside the box and have plans, because if I'm done with the school, what else can I do? With the available resources that I have, what else can I do? Can I exploit the area? Can I exploit the areas that I'm good at? If you're good at something, can you exploit those areas? Can you do research and try to do something out of it that can give you value of money? And the other area, I can also blame the government in such a way that in our education system, you realize that it only favors a certain percentage of people, of students who are bright. So the others who don't make it to campus, the others who don't graduate with first class and second class, whatever, where do they go? You find that the society now starts judging them as failures, and sometimes they lose their meaning in the society. So sometimes they start being demoralized. So I will basically say that.
Talking to Justus, we realize it's not that the government is not doing enough, so are the youths. What is the solution? We assume that starting a business takes a lot of capital. And Justus here started his business with just 3,000 shillings. It was virtual. It was a platform he found. He has told us to use the available resources that we have. When you're starting a business, you have to ask yourself, despite where you're seeing yourself at, you need to start from right now. What do you have? What can you use? That is how we get to start. And youths, we cannot be sleeping. We cannot be depending on white-collar jobs. At this particular time, there are 1.4 million people seeking for that position you're seeking for. You may work as hard, but there are people who work half as hard and earn twice as much. It is upon us as young people, it is upon us as a country to find out what opportunities are we creating for these particular people. I'd like Justus to tell us where we can find him, and you've seen the samples of bags he sells, how we can contact him, and where we can find you in case we need something specific.
Okay, yes. You can find me on Facebook. I have a page called the Jeffrey Prince. You can also find me on Instagram, Justus Chibole. On Twitter, the same, Justus Chibole. Yeah, I think those are the platforms that are currently active.
Justus, maybe 2 more questions.
Yes.
Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years as an entrepreneur?
Okay, in the next 5 years, actually I have a very big vision of my business. Currently I'm dealing with ladies, handbags and clothes. But I would really love that in the next 5 years, at least I'll split and also give men the same test as I'm giving the ladies.
Yes.
I would really love to have my workshops in each and every country across the country. And I would really love also to be exporting my products to other African countries so that I can also remind them, look, we have an African test for you. You can also embrace an African test. So that is my vision, and I believe that I'll get there very soon.
We all wish Justus all the best in his endeavors as an entrepreneur, and we know that once you begin something, you're halfway through it. So Justus, we are happy that you are here. Thank you so much for being here. And please, when in the next 5 years or in the next 6 months, you should employ at least 2 people.
Sure.
You know,
Sure.
to tell them how to go about the business, teach them and also mentor them.
Sure.
Because not everyone has the mind of an entrepreneur.
Sure.
So that even as they are seeking employment, they'll seek it from you.
Sure.
Thank you so much. We'll be right back after the break. This is Lifestyles, and my name is Cherryl Otieno. Our next guest is a wife, an entrepreneur, and a psychologist. We are still going to be talking about the same issue. I'd like her to introduce herself.
Hello, my name is Hilda Kariuki. I'm a wife, I'm a psychologist, a chef by profession, and thank you for having me here.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
So Hilda, today we are talking about the issue affecting us as young people. We found that 1.4 million Kenyans are diligent. These are not people who are unemployed. These are people who are diligently wako na kazi ya kutafuta kazi. They are diligently looking for a job. So tell us, we want to know your journey from the time you graduated until now.
Okay, as I stated earlier on, my introduction, I first of all pursued hospitality management, whereby then I went ahead, I did a side course, a short course that is, in pastry. And then later on, I went ahead and did psychology. With that, I decided to follow what I love doing. By doing hospitality first, then psychology, both of them are things I love doing. But what I love most in that is baking. And that is why I started off my own bakery, my own pastry shop by the name Winners Bakery. That is what I've been running for the last 4 years. Yes.
So you've been in the business for 4 years?
Yes.
So have you worked in hotels or?
Yes, I've worked in hotels at Karen Country Club, sorry. I went there for my internship, then I worked for 1 month, but then I realized I'm not so much into employment because I'm business oriented. And because of a few other factors, I decided to quit employment. And I've not just worked at Karen, I've also worked at 2 other places. But I realized I'm not for employment because it also depends with someone's passion. It also depends with someone's push and someone's vision too. So for me, I realized when it comes to employment, it used to limit me into doing a lot of things because I am also a social person. I also run a foundation. So I realized me being employed and the terms of hospitality employment in the hotel industry, there are a lot of limits and a lot of dedication and time needed into the hotel industry. So when I realized that I am an outgoing person, I have a lot of things running under me, I decided, no, let me run my own thing whereby I won't be limited. Not saying that employment is bad, but based on what I see ahead, that is why I decided to venture into my own company.
Your own,
yes.
Yeah. And you're fast and furious going.
I'm a go-getter myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long have you been in the business?
4 years.
4 years?
Yeah, this is the 5th year now.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
What are some of the challenges?
Well, let me say, being a lady, a young lady for that matter, there are very many challenges, especially in the being a beginner. Especially in my first year, the biggest challenge I had was marketing myself and getting my own clientele. That was the biggest challenge, I will say that. Because especially when it comes to cakes, you know, people are used to big brands and they have a hard time trusting beginners. And I will say this, in every business, that is the biggest challenge. Because before people trust you with your own work, they are already used to other people. So transiting from the people they're used to getting services from to the new people in the market, that is always the biggest challenge, especially to, let me say, in my area of specialization, baking. Because some cakes are, let me say, they are the crown of occasions. And when someone gets a bad cake, oh man, it's always bad for the whole day. Even if the whole day everything was fine, but when it comes to the cake cutting, they find a terrible job, cakes which are not even attractive, they're not sweet. So that is always the biggest challenge. That was my biggest challenge before I got people who trusted me with their own events. Yeah, so getting your own clientele, maybe the finances, the beginning, the capital to start off your own business, and to also get the market area. That was the biggest challenge for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So being someone who has started their own business, and of course it's catching up because you've done wedding cakes, parties, baby showers, office cakes, and it's been amazing. 10% out of the 100,000 graduates yearly are the ones who get absorbed into the market business, meaning 90% still remains Why do you think the number is that high?
Okay, let me give an example. When I first got into the hotel industry, there was always a statement being said out to us.
Okay.
No matter the CV you write, if it has no experience with it, your chances of getting a job, they're very low. Which made me wonder, if we won't get the jobs, how are we going to get the experience? That discourages a lot of people. You might have the topmost, even the first class honors, but if you don't have the experience, you're a fresh graduate, you will want a job. But the first discouragement you get from, let me say, the farms, the first discouragement you get is that you have no experience. And then you're left wondering, how am I going to get the experience if you don't employ me? And that is where you find most of them, they just tarmac for years and years. You can get a graduate who is a tout. Not that touting is a bad job, but it is not in line with what you studied. And you find other people, you'll find a lot of graduates doing marketing. Like nowadays, we have a lot of, let me say, real estate agents who have employed a lot of marketers who have not done marketing and sales.
True.
Let me use an example. Maybe in my industry, hospitality management, you can get me out there doing marketing, yet it's not my field, not the field that I studied. You find that the discouragement they first get is that they don't have experience, but they're not getting the employment. So they have to go out there looking for other jobs to sustain them, because this is life. You have to get something to sustain you around. So I feel that is what discourages them at first.
Okay. Is there anything that the government can do? Is there anything? Because now, when we are studying for these jobs, right? Let's say I pursued journalism. Now, after graduating, suddenly there are no jobs. It's like, I had a key, but suddenly they changed the locks. So, I'm there, I'm there with my key, but the locks are changed. Do you think there is something our government or the recruitment system can do so that we can maybe try to reduce the numbers?
Okay, on that, I would give them a piece of advice. The youths, or maybe those people who are still in school. For the government, let me say the placement system of the government, especially when someone is through with their fourth form, you find that you are placed for a course you didn't want. You see,
I've heard that.
But since it's the government, government-sponsored placement, you have to go with it. You find you have a course you don't love, you look for a job you don't love, you live a life you don't love.
Very frustrating. A
frustrating life. And that is one of the biggest missteps that happens with the youth. You see. And the government has placed very good strategies, like let's say the TVET. We have the colleges that offer technical courses, which I saw as a good strategy to give even those people who have not achieved the cut-off points in the fourth form exams to get into the universities with a job. So you find with the technical courses, if someone is not just majorly based on the white-collar jobs, they have the opportunity to go and venture into any area they feel like. Because nowadays, not that I'm disputing the white-collar jobs, the thing is they're very hard to get. And there is a term used by people in our nation, and I beg to be forgiven, that bila connections, huwezi pata job.
Yeah,
which has been happening.
Yeah, it's been happening.
And not that it's a term used, but in real sense, it is actually happening on ground.
Yes.
Things that is happening.
Yes.
But the moment you get a course, like the course I pursued, hospitality management, it's a course that I can either be employed or employ myself. Like, if they choose technical courses in the colleges,
Yes.
and also in the TVET programs, also in the NYS, they also offer technical courses. When you join those institutions, you find that you are given skills. You gain the skills because I believe going to study is not just to get the education. You gain the skills, you gain the ability to relate with people, you become intellectual around everyone, with life, because you interact with a lot of people, so you know how to handle different things. If you have an issue in school, when you go to the dean's office, you'll know how to handle it. And you learn every skill in school, not just getting the papers. And when you have the technical courses, with what the government did, and they offered us the chance to, they offered everyone, actually the whole nation, to go and get the technical skills. I think maybe at the back of their minds, they had the idea of, get the skills, go employ yourself.
Okay.
You see,
Okay.
get the skills, go employ yourself, not just running around with papers. You see, and I feel they've also done something great. You can look at the EPZ companies in Kitengela and at the river, because it's a whole big farm. You find, like the other day, the president of Kenya had gone to one of the companies in the EPZ. It's called Mass Intimate, and they were saying they have employed over 3,000 people, and they're all young people. Also the older, they are catering for their families. Not that there are no jobs. Sometimes you even find the youth, they've studied, but you find some things are just disqualifying them. You get character can disqualify you.
Character.
Yes, because having the skills with no character, how are you going to be employed?
You're an accident waiting to happen.
Exactly. So you find the government has done a lot, but some of our youths, you even find some of them they love idling around. They just love sitting on the chair. They just rotate around. They just want easy come. And in this life, there is no easy come. You have to work for everything. So not that the government has not done, it has done a lot. They've given us the platform, the opportunities. They've even given us the kazi mtaani. It's there.
Yeah, it's there.
It's there. Even if you get, let's say, 500 in a day, it's good enough later for you, but not enough. It's good, but not enough. You see, so you might find, you'll find a lot of youths, they want big things, not ready to go a step at a time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We have, wow, character. I mean, that part has, we want employment, but when you look at our character, are we really able to perform? I mean, we've studied for 4 years, but do we have the character to sustain that particular job? I'd like you to look at the camera, and I'd like you to give someone just kidogo, little piece of advice. They're saying, I've got character, I've got the papers. When I went to school, I had hope. But up until this point, it's been 5 years, it's been 3 years, I don't have a job. I want you to tell them, to encourage them, to give them something that they can go on with.
Okay, to that person out there still looking for a job, there is always an opportunity for you out there. The first thing, make sure whatever job you're looking for or seeking, make sure it's what you love. Because if you don't have a passion for it, that thing, you won't get it. But if you have passion for something, you will always have the energy to forge ahead and look for it. Even if it's a job you're looking for, before you get it, find something else that can hold you up until God opens up the doors for you. Yes.
We have 1.4 million Kenyans diligently seeking for a job. 90% of the graduates yearly don't get absorbed into the job market. If you can get a business, Justus told us it took 3,000 shillings for him to begin his business. It doesn't need much. It needs a vision. It needs someone with consistency and someone who knows where they're going. Find what you can do and do it. It doesn't take a lot. People have worked in construction sites. They've sold eggs on the streets. They've sold shoes on the street. You don't have to sit there. Just find something you can do. Get the capital. Find someone who can help you and believes in your vision, and you'll be able to move. My name is Cherryl Otieno. This is Lifestyles. See you next Sunday.